Hello and welcome to the weekly Reframe, episode 8 for Friday, the 11th of July. I am in Barcelona, not really today, but I will be. So I decided to record this ahead. I was behind, now I'm ahead. See the beauty, that's the dance. So remember last week or the week before, I said I had a question and I've been addressing this question actually, and I'm going to share today this question, the surface level answer based on what the person came with, but digging deeper because the person did leave her name and I could speak to her through LinkedIn. As an experienced coach, there is a lot underneath, and this is actually the value, knowing what's underneath. And I'm going to address both so you see the difference. I'm going to read the question. What I normally ask in the form that I share is, what's something you're currently feeling stuck, confused, or challenged by? Then I ask, how is this affecting you emotionally or practically? And what would you love to change? So the person shared, I feel stuck reaching out on DMs to people. How do I do it on LinkedIn? Do I post content and wait for them to DM me after they've seen my content, or do I approach people on the DMs? I feel stuck with this because I write, engage, and follow people, but I don't usually reach out. I feel overwhelmed and discouraged because it's like I'm hitting blind spots every time I share something. And she would love to feel, she said, I would love clarity. Here I am writing, creating content, and the people who comment are people who are already creators, and they believe they know more than I do, since we do the same thing. How do I go from creating content to attracting buyers or people who would want my help without having to feel like I'm spamming them on DM? And the last question I usually ask in the form is there anything else you'd like me to know? And she said, I believe I'm good at writing and what I do, including my experience online. I believe I can help more people. I just lack authority and positioning. How do I thrive in those two without feeling overwhelmed? So because I didn't have enough to work with, I asked her a bit of background. This is what she shared. I started on Facebook in 2022 doing affiliate marketing, thinking it was very easy, no need for investment, but I ended up investing in affiliate program, high ticket, low ticket. I feel I failed. I had no clarity. I didn't understand how to build my brand. I was following the advice to create and do, felt overwhelmed. I was not good at writing English. I self-taught writer and reader. English is not my main language. I failed to make money in the process. I invested but didn't make money. But I learned a lot of things about myself. I always listened to what coaches said, stealing rather than trying to find my own message. So I feel I failed at personal branding. It took me a long time to understand my values, why I was doing that, but I'm proud of how much I've learned about myself. Okay, so first of all, I want to say thank you so much for sharing and kudos to you. First of all, for learning and so doing a business in a second language and being self-taught, write and reader in English. That is an amazing thing. So well done there. This is a big achievement, but I encourage everyone to celebrate achievements because we take for granted how much we have achieved and how far we've come. I always say, be proud of yourself for how far you've come. I've come a long way, I say to myself, but I take it for granted. So when I tell people I moved countries and inserted myself in 3 cultures already and learned 5 languages and people are like, wow, oh my God, that's amazing. I only lived always in my hometown and I speak only 1 language. But for me, I normalized that, well done for all your achievements, and that is not a small one. Okay, so here's my answer at surface level. And I wrote this down as I was back and forth with the messages. You're doing great, and what you've learned about yourself is more valuable than making money through something that's not aligned with you. And also, I wanted to expand here on the concept of originality from authors like Austin Kleon and his book Still Like an Artist, which is a book about finding inspiration while developing your unique voice. So if other authors out there are giving you permission to steal because It's not about copying everything other people do. The book goes like this: there is no original story because of who we are as a species. Storytelling is built on sharing a story and hoping someone loves it enough to pass it on. Storytelling is loving a story so dearly you want to add your own tiny mark to it to show that appreciation. Or film director and scriptwriter Jim Jarmusch and his quote: nothing is original. Steal from anywhere that resonates with inspiration or fuels your imagination. Devour old films, new films, music, books, paintings, photographs, poems, dreams, random conversations, architecture, bridges, street signs, trees, clouds, bodies of water, light and shadows. Select only things to steal from that speak directly to your soul. If you do this, your work and theft will be authentic. Authenticity is invaluable. Originality is non existent. And don't bother concealing your thievery. Celebrate it if you feel like it. In any case, always remember what Jean Luc Godard said: it's not where you take things from, it's where you take them to. I studied filmmaking, and these quotes were already fresh in my mind years ago, and they came back to me now when somebody's trying to do a job. Then we go to explore whether they are aligned or not. But if you are committed to doing a job, don't let these details hold you back. When I started my business, I also thought, what do I have to say differently than other coaches or other creators are not already saying? That was my first impulse, to question my authority. Who would want to listen to me anyway? What new thing do I have to share? What breakthrough? What innovation? And then I remembered these things that I used to love from my life story when I started filmmaking, and I was learning from film directors and their creative process. This is the beauty of sharing your story, doing work that is aligned with you. You start putting together all the pieces of this puzzle that is your life, and then you hear your calling to inspire others, to serve others. Until that happens, you're going to be in the hamster wheel, in the creator treadmill, in the same way that perhaps you used to be in the corporate treadmill. And if you've not been in any of those situations, you get the idea. So yeah, this is why what I have to say in these weekly reframes with the clients I guide, in the workshops I'm doing, this is exactly why me is different to all the different coaches. And you can take this from me and say it to yourself, because that's the idea. I'm your mirror. You now go, yes, if Claudia can do it, so can I. And then I also merged my answer with a bit of Joe Dispenza's work, because I was listening to a podcast. I'm very familiar with his work, and I was listening to a podcast. Every time I listen to a podcast, there is wow, this is the answer to that. And I made some notes. Let's see if they make sense as they are from the other day. If not, I'll expand. The key is to overcoming emotional addiction. Those emotions that derive from the hormones of stress, the ones that are scanning threat or danger. When we are like that, in that emotional addictive state, with all those emotions flushing our body and in threat or danger, there is no energy to create. When you're living in emergency, in fight or flight, in high alert, is no time to create. That was me last year. That's why I was feeling so stuck. I'm like, why I'm not getting clients? I was in this hyper alert mode all this time because of a particular situation I was through. Plus my subconscious blockages that I went through and explored with curiosity and acceptance, I managed to dissolve by giving a lot of love to that part of me that was saying it's too painful and it's too risky to have clients. I'm not going to go into that because I want to focus on this person, but we all have these blockages. The problem is we're not aware. Okay, continue. We have to break that condition process. We are in this condition, we cannot be free, joyful, express ourselves. So the invitation is to sit with yourself, quiet down the mind, and then biology begins to change. We naturally stop activating those hormonal centers that create those emotions, and we start tuning into heart coherence. Now the heart resets the baseline and it tells the brain trauma is over, stress is over, Now we can start creating. If you do this consistently, you can change your genes. That's epigenetics. Elevated emotions signal genes ahead of the environment. So, in a nutshell, these are my notes from that podcast. And basically, this can be reverted, this can be changed. We can really reprogram our mind, rewire our brain. But first, we need to have self awareness and really understand what's going on, because it's so easy to blame the algorithm, the manager, the competition, the clients, or blame yourself, blame ourselves. From the notes, from the conversation with this person, I failed at personal branding. I failed at marketing. It's so easy to self-sabotage, but we don't know what's going on. I wanted to give this example anyway because I believe the audience that might listen to this might resonate. There are lots of ghostwriters on LinkedIn and people that are writing for a living. Okay, so that's at surface level. Now I want to go to a deeper level of self-awareness where we go more exploring the subconscious mind. In the process with a period of about 2 weeks that I received the first question, and in conversation I started to find out a bit more. And this is what we do in a coaching session, but this was just a chat back and forth and a bit of voice notes. It wasn't a coaching session, but look, with this self-awareness and what I teach, a lot can come out. So this is how powerful coaching and my approach is. So this person got a new job in a physical office, and I said, "Oh, congratulations with a new job," because it was shared in the group that we are part of. And I asked personally, "Are you happy?" And she said, "Not really, because I feel very lonely. There's no structure. Nobody tells me what is expected of me. They don't tell me what to do. They don't give me," and she felt very lonely. And to some people, that might be a gift. But for people that felt abandonment and loneliness, and it really hurts inside because there is still an open wound, I totally get it. It is painful. You feel like you're going to die. I've experienced that myself in jobs, in corporate, and I didn't realize at the time. And I was blaming the company, the managers, the promises of a good culture. And I was really confused because I think it's not what they promised me. I had that feeling of unfairness, rejection, abandonment. Then, over the years, in the last 2, 3 years, I realized it was all inside of me, all this pain. And my answer now to this person, the work I do teaches to start seeing life differently. And I know how hard it is, particularly in some countries. But I believe feeling like that will keep you stuck in victim mentality. Oh, they didn't give me that, they didn't provide that, they left me alone. These are all invitations from life to start valuing yourself more and doing things differently. It takes radical acceptance first, meaning not fighting the situation, and radical responsibility, saying no to things that are not aligned with you. First, you have to know what you love, what you're good at. What did you used to love doing as a kid? Then what transpired was that she used to feel very lonely and abandoned as a kid. And this is why it keeps manifesting, because I explained that's the subconscious mind is responsible for our actions 90% of the time. So no wonder we're still accepting and getting into situations, circumstances, or relationships with people that if we never felt valued, if we felt abandoned, isolated, they're going to reflect the same. They are going to reflect that back at us, because this is what we have inside. Our wounds and our subconscious mind is holding and carrying all that. It's a heavy burden, but it can be dissolved when we start looking and giving to ourselves what we didn't have. When we stop looking for people to blame, and by no means is about condoning what other people, cruel things that they did to us, but it's about understanding that from now on, we get to love ourselves, give ourselves everything we didn't have as children, if that was the case, and identifying those subconscious mechanisms. When she was describing about this job situation, and she sent me a voice note, and I said, I can sense how much it must have hurt to feel so lonely, not seen, not supported. And she said, that's exactly what I've been suffering with: loneliness, not being supported, not being seen all her life. And those trapped emotions are still stored in the subconscious mind. They need processing because they are the ones determining the actions and keeping you stuck. I said, look what happens. You're running on a program that says you're lonely, not being seen or unsupported. What do you get for a job? Exactly that. It perpetuates what your subconscious believes. No matter how hard you try, our subconscious mind drives 90%, 95% of our actions. She's repeating the vicious circle until we face it and disarm it. The vicious circle continues because actually it's an opportunity for us to look within, heal, transcend, and evolve. Then, and I'm not going to go into details about this, then more came out. And all that more was a lot of traumatic situations, a lot of pain, and very, very difficult and sad things, very, very hard. And this person was carrying that with her all these years. So, despite being very hard, probably to open up to a stranger and not knowing how I was going to respond, it was very liberating for her. Because of the interaction, I realized it needed to come out, and she felt safe to tell me, and I felt safe guiding her and being and holding space for her. Now, even with just that one interaction, she is very committed and empowered and has a lot of passion and drive to really address all this stored trauma and take action and do something with it, because she is already very, very powerful and committed and strong woman. Now she knows, she understood how it works, so she doesn't feel a victim anymore. That's the part that so many of us missed. We think there's something wrong with us. We feel that people caused us so much pain, and so we get stuck. We don't see how we're gonna get out of that. And it's commendable. I don't know how much I can share with people that are going through pain and wounds and trauma, and the bravery, the courage that it takes to want to overcome that, to want freedom from the pain, from the mind. And now this person, I'm so proud of her because now she has the permission, the baton, she can take it. I'll be here and I am happy to give other resources if she needs to. At least she knows one person believes in her and understood her and took the time to explain how this works, and it's her journey now to see how she makes that happen. It's the beginning of a beautiful journey, and I'm so sure and confident that it is going to be very rewarding for her. She told me she has a mission, she has a dream. I called it a mission. She has a dream to encourage and help young people not to go through the same. And how beautiful now she knows that if she does this work, the first part, let me tell you, if you're listening, which you will, because I'll send you this, I know you will listen. The first part, the first step, which is massive, you've already taken, which is to look within, to see all the pain, to see all the trauma, and to understand the next step, the second next step. But the first one is the most important one. It's the one that many people fail to do because it's so painful to look inside. And I promise, I never heard anything as painful as this today. And that courage to share, to look within and share, and to acknowledge, wow, I've seen it like that all this time. Yes, it was painful, but now I understand even more. I just want to send you a huge hug and continue this beautiful journey that you just started. Also, now you have a bigger mission, and it was beautiful to first understand that yourself, you deserve this, to feel better, to be treated better, to give yourself all the love. Then your children, as you well said, I want to be a better mom. But also now third, you have this mission to impact the world, the youth in the world. Wow. Imagine now worrying about the DMs. See how irrelevant it becomes? I think it's beautiful. And so I'm so proud of you. I want you to know that you're always going to be supported. We talked about the spiritual side of it as well, which it really helps. to know that our soul came here to transcend all these limitations and constraints, because inherently we are happy, free, abundant. And if we carry all these layers, we can't be. We are in a prison, and you are setting yourself free from this prison. But you've also been a blessing to me, because you said a key word to me, which was hope, when you gave me your kind words, that I was a blessing because I shared all this with you and made you see things differently. And when you said hope, it was a blessing because not long ago I realized that my mission was to bring hope to the world, to the people that are feeling discouraged, stuck. And my mission in this life is to bring hope to people in situations where they don't see a way out, but that they just need a little light to help them back in their path. I needed to read that, because when you're only just acknowledging that this is really what you came here to do. In my case, yeah, I started my business as a coach. I knew there was more that I wanted to do, not just be a coach one-to-one, and there's so much unfolding for me, and it's beautiful. The more I release myself, the more I let go of the layers that were not longer serving me, the more I come across these opportunities for me to do what my soul came here to do, which is to be creative, joyful, accept myself as I am. That's authenticity. Like I was last week saying about my bipolar diagnosis, and this week I'm sharing, because every week I realize something else falls into place, and I've been exploring this word hope for the reasons I described. And if you've been following and you know the story that my dad took his life when I was 15, and I'm 46 now, how 30 years later I'm realizing that my mission is to help people like my dad, who I couldn't help at the time because I was only a kid. And now I can spread the word through my books, through my workshops, through my speaking events that I'll be doing. I have a lot of clarity now about that. And then I know I will impact people. My message will impact people in the same way that I got confirmed with this person today. And I'm going to share the feedback separately with a screenshot. Yeah, if I can do it with one person, the more I do it, the bigger I do it, more people will benefit, more people will be happy, more people will be better person. They will be better with their kids, with their partners. As I always say, if you feel good about yourself, it's gonna spread this light and energy and caring energy, and it's gonna be beautiful. The ripple effect is gonna be amazing. Identify what's your mission. I'm convinced if you change yourself, then you start impacting everyone around you. That's it for today. I hope it's been helpful. Now, because I'm not doing the lives and this is going into YouTube, I didn't plan to start a YouTube channel. And I go in, I see 18 views, 20 views, and that's amazing because people are seeing this. And it wasn't my intention to start it, but this is where it's going. I haven't got not even one subscriber, and that's okay. But I figured I'm going to start saying, subscribe to my channel, like my video, because you never know. Maybe I end up building an audience there. At the moment, I haven't got my head to plan this strategy, and that's okay. I'm happy with that because I'm doing everything I need to do for now. So, yeah, thank you. Let's see if you're the first one to subscribe, give me a like, leave a comment. The comments are amazing. I love the comments on LinkedIn. I engage with a lot of people, and to be honest, I think in the comments all the beauty happens. On my own post or in others, I think is very enriching and rewarding. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to Barcelona. I'll be back next week, and I'm going to share more insights and more of the way I see life now. Is so beautiful even when it hurts, because it's an opportunity. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend.